Yep. Okay, welcome to Gaming the System, the only channel coming to you from the unusual and unexpected intersection of gaming and theology. I am your host, Caleb Allen, joined by my co-host Ryan Somerville. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Oh, I'm doing spectacular. Waiting on the birth of my second child that should come at any moment, and so thus I'm in a pretty good mood.
Right. The sooner that second child comes, the better. That way I know if I'm preaching on Sunday or not.
Yeah, that is true. Although I'll have to tell you that all indications are that it's not going to be this Lord's Day, because there's been no movement on that front as far as my wife is concerned, so we still have some time yet.
Well, on the one hand, that's good, at least for me anyway. Okay, so let's jump right into some discussion. In our last video, go ahead and jump. We mentioned that this channel would be discussing theology from a Reformed perspective, and I think we touched on it very, very briefly, but we really didn't define. Oh man, this is sick. I just bought the one of the special little flyers. Anyway, we didn't define Reformed theology for our audience, so let's start with that. What is Reformed theology?
Reformed theology. I think what perhaps a better question may be is, what does it mean to be reformed? Before we can discuss Reformed theology, we kind of have to get to the heart of it. Reformed. And basically, if you really wanted to boil it down, you boil it down into one word, and that is confessional. To be reformed is to be confessional, particularly to adhere to one of the historic Reformed confessions of faith, whether that be the Westminster Confession or the three forms of unity, the Belgian Confession, the Heidelberg Catechism. And much to my chagrin, the third one escapes me right at the moment, but, one of the Reformed confessions. So, to be Reformed is to adhere to a confession, thus a confessional theology. So if we draw that out, then we could be legitimate in saying that to be Reformed is to hold to Reformed confession and confessional theology. So that's really what we're getting at when we say Reformed theology. We're talking about confessional theology. And of course, ultimately, that confessional theology will have particular nuances to it, particular elements to it. So, confessionally speaking, that we are, and perhaps in terms that modern theologians would understand, if we want to really boil Reformed theology down, it would be basically Calvinistic theology, covenantal theology, and confessional theology, if we really wanted to put that in mind.
Okay, now I was thinking to address it later on, but I guess I'll go ahead and bring it up now. There are some have defined Reformed theology, or what it means to be Reformed, in stricter terms, really. So, in our understanding, what color is your assault rifle, by the way? I have a green one if you want it. Oh.
I have a blue.
Okay, I have a blue and a green.
Same here.
Cool. By the way, we have bad guys on the far side. I shot at one of them. I hit him. I don't know if he healed up. Anyway, so some have gone and defined Reformed in a narrow sense to say that you must be you must hold to the Westminster standards to be Reformed, and the intent in doing that is essentially to exclude Baptists. Oh no! Get him! So in our understanding of Reformed, what it means to be Reformed, are we including or excluding those who hold to the London Baptist Confession of 1689? What's your take on that?
My take on that would be that, alright, so I mentioned confessional, right?
Right.
I mentioned covenantal, and I mentioned Calvinistic. And at first blush, Reformed Baptists would fall into that paradigm, you would think. The problem is that ultimately, they only really fall into two parts of that paradigm, Calvinistic and confessional, if they hold to the 1689 Reformed Baptist Confession. However, their covenantal theology is a bit skewed. They don't properly understand the covenants, which is why they're Baptist, and thus we would not consider them to be Reformed. If you talk about Baptist theology, a Baptist has to either make the claim that he is completely separate from the Reformation, or that he is an offshoot of the Anabaptists, which would make him part of the radical Reformation. So therefore, in either sense of the word, whether the Baptists self-proclaim separation from the Reformation itself, it would claim a purer line, or if they identify with the Anabaptists, we would associate that with a radical Reformation. In either sense of the term, they would not be properly considered Reformed, historically speaking and confessionally speaking. So I don't think it's narrow to say that they're not Reformed. I think it is historically accurate and theologically accurate to say that they are not Reformed. Calvinism does not a Reformed person make. Neither does merely adhering to a confession, particularly since you notice that 1689 falls way outside the bounds of when the Reformation took place, and when the earliest Reformed confessions took place. And it's like 40 years after the Westminster Confession, quite frankly, is almost in its totality a knockoff of the Westminster Confession of Faith. So, in that sense, no, Reformed Baptists are not Reformed. They are historically what's known as particular Baptists, and that means they're confessional and Calvinistic, but they're not covenantal. Or at least properly covenantal, I should say.
Okay. Now, how then should we differentiate between those who are confessional in the sense of holding to the 1689 confession, yet how should we differentiate them from those who hold to the 1689, them being Baptist, versus the John MacArthur type, where, well, they're more of a Calvinistic in the sense of tulip. Calvinistic dispensations.
Yeah, Calvinistic. You just hit the nail on the head. I mean, John MacArthur side of things, he is a dispensationalist. He's not covenantal at all. It's one of the defining marks of Reformed theology is covenant theology. Yeah. So dispensationalism is the antithesis of covenant theology. So, we call them dispensation Calvinistic Baptists, for lack of a better term. But they're certainly not sense of
Hey,
any sense of word.
get this mini.
To just merely be, Calvinistic is not what being reformed is. Being reformed, again, is confessional, which, again, MacArthur and the dispensational types are not. It is to be confessional, it is to be Calvinistic, and that's one thing that they have. But it is also to be covenantal, and they are surely not covenantal. Dispensationalism didn't exist until the 1800s. They are far from covenantal in their theology, and thus cannot be classified with a reform. Whereas a Reformed Baptist is not dispensational; they are covenantal. Again, their covenant theology is a bit askew. We would consider it to be proper covenant theology, but it is still covenantal. It's not dispensational. And those we refer to as historic Baptists, or basically particular Baptists.
Is there really a difference between historic and particular Baptists? Or is that just like a nice way of playing with words?
Well, yeah, it'd be a nice way of playing with words. I mean, again, until the 1800s, you had general and particular Baptists, and that is, they fell along Calvinistic lines, but still you're dealing with covenantal theology, just the proper permutation of it. And particular Baptists would have fallen along covenantal lines, whereas general Baptists would have fallen along Arminian lines, and their covenant theology would be non-developed or undeveloped. So historically, Baptists fall into two categories: Arminian, non-covenantal, just general, or Calvinistic and covenantal to some degree, which would be particular.
No, they're coming after you. Okay, now, should Westminster be the defining mark for whether one is reformed or not?
No. If you are holding to the three forms of unity, you're still falling in the Reformed camp.
Okay.
It would be Dutch versus Scottish, but still Reformed nonetheless.
Now, also going back to what you mentioned as far as the three criteria for what Reformed is, being covenantal, Calvinistic, and confessional. Even though our Baptist brethren have a skewed covenantal theology, could we still say that even in spite of that skewed theology, that they are at least to a degree still Reformed? Or does it also require that historical aspect?
Well, Reformed is a historical term. It's referring to a particular point in history, that is, of the Reformation. So no, they can't claim that appellation. They don't hold the doctrinal distinctness that arose out of the Reformation. There's the magisterial Reformation, out of which covenantal theology and Calvinistic theology and confessional theology arose. And then there's the radical Reformation, which eschewed basically all of that. And then there are the two divisions amongst Baptists, those who identify themselves with the Anabaptists, who were part of the radical Reformation, or those who would find Baptists to be a bit purer, and that is tracing their roots aside from, or in a completely different line outside of the Reformation. And maybe some of them might say that they arose out of the Reformation, but for the most part, Reform refers to a particular period in history, a particular theology that followed and flowed from that particular period. And so if you do not hold or do not have those elements in your theology and your confessionalism, then you are not properly reformed. Words mean things, historical periods mean things. The idea of a Reformed Baptist is a modern invention. It's a way that Baptists have sort of marked themselves out from dispensational Baptist theology, from Arminian Baptist theology. They are not properly, historically reformed, as much as they may want to co-opt the term. The proper term for them is particular.
Are you planning to hide behind the shed for the rest of the match? You got to get in circle, by the way.
Well,
You're outside circle.
I see that. The plan was just not to be killed by the people that were shooting at me. And it seems to have been a successful plan, so I can make my way in circle. May not look like I can hear my words getting harmed, but it still does.
Oh, they're shooting at you. They really should change the way spectating, like your teammate spectating works, because it would be so helpful. There's the chest in that truck that just passed, if you want to go get it. Or, oh wait, no, that's not a chest. That's the vending machine. They've added that since you last played. So you can take resources with the vending machines that you collect and trade them in for gear. Pretty neat. Okay, so how then, bearing in mind what you've said so far, what would be the proper and respectful way of referring to our confessional Baptist brothers, as far as like
They're particular Baptists.
Particular Baptists.
Particular Baptists. That is the historically correct terminology.
So we'll try to use that, but you know, as they say, old habits die hard. So for our viewers, if you hear us use the term Reformed Baptist, understand it as particular Baptists as we have defined them, and forgive our inconsistency.
Yeah, well, your inconsistency. I don't think it's a mistake.
Part of me disagrees with you, to be honest. I understand the points made, and I don't take issue with the identification of Reformed as a historical term. So there's no disagreement there. But I'm inclined to include, as far as our labeling goes, to include Baptists in the Reformed, due to being confessional. But well,
I mean,
it's not a hill I'm willing to die
that's
over.
the sum, yeah, if that's the sum of your reasoning, then I'd submit it as faulty reasoning, because if confessionalism was all that was necessary, quite frankly, there are people who don't fit the Reformed paradigm at all that are confessional. For instance, even within Presbyterian and mainline denominations that are confessional, they hold or they have a confession as part of their documents, but in terms of their theology, they're hardly Reformed.
True.
So merely having a confession does not somehow make one Reformed. And as far as our Baptist brethren are considered, if they were Reformed Baptists.
Right. Okay, now, another... I hadn't thought about taking this one up, but it just came to mind, so let's tackle it. To be considered Reformed, so we're transitioning our discussion away from Baptists and their theology to Presbyterian or truly Reformed, we can say.
Well, be
is
careful there, because Presbyterian is not necessarily the only Reformed.
right. Like
The
you
only
can be
Reformed group.
technically you can be Congregationalist.
The
Right.
Continental Reformed, which not necessarily identify themselves as Presbyterian.
True. My mistake. So there are some who would say that part of being Reformed requires strict subscription, and that if you're not a strict subscriptionist, then you aren't properly Reformed. Is that a position worth taking? Is it reasonable? I guess let's go with that.
You're asking me if strict subscriptionism is reasonable, or is it
No.
reasonable to hold that as the paragon of reform?
As the paragon of reform.
Wow.
You died.
Quick.
No,
I don't know where they came
would.
from.
Right, it was somewhere behind you, but it was like 2 shots, so I don't know what that would have been. Maybe a semi-auto sniper? I don't know.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to strict subscriptionism, so let's get that out there. In fact, quite honestly, that's where my own convictions lie. I would consider myself a strict subscriptionist to the Westminster Confession. But I don't think that in order to be Reformed, or even in order to be confessional, that strict subscriptionism is demanded. If that makes sense. So, what are your thoughts on strict subscriptionism as being definitional of reform?
Well, I think it's a bit silly to take strict subscription as definitional of reform. It's really opening a whole new bag of whatever discussion, but the idea of strict versus loose subscription. Loose subscriptionists still hold to the system doctrine, right?
Right.
So therefore, they are still confessing the doctrine of their confession in the main, with some differences in particulars. But on the whole, they accept the system of doctrine, so therefore they are confessional, and they still fall within the balance of reform. I guess in terms of a reform paradigm. So I don't think that you have to be strict subscriptionist in order to be reformed. So yeah, no. Even though I am strict subscription, I would not see that as necessary to be considered.
Okay. Well, good. We at least agree on something. So.
Yeah, well, that's good. You're wrong about Baptists, but that's
Man, do you have any shields?
I have nothing. I've got weapons, but I have no shields.
Okay, I have some for you. So, come to me and I'll give you some shields. All right.
Oh, there's someone there behind the house you're running by.
Yeah.
On your left.
I'm running to him. I want to kill
They
him.
went inside their building. They're all the way up on this third floor.
I'm following this guy up the tower.
Oh, sheesh.
He killed
Whatever
me.
weapon they had, it literally killed me with one shot.
Dang. Oh well, that's probably because you didn't have any shields, quite honestly.
Ah,